The sky over the Cross Ranch glowed gold as the sun dipped behind the hills. Eliza Cross stood by the fence, laughing softly as her father struggled to fix a loose plank. "Not every problem needs force," he said with a smile. "Some just need patience." Those were the last peaceful words she would ever hear. Hoofbeats shattered the silence. Eliza turned. Riders, 5 of them, emerged from the dust like shadows. At the front rode a man dressed in black, his face calm, too calm. Silas Kane. "Stay inside," her father whispered, pushing her toward the house. But it was already too late. The men surrounded the ranch, guns drawn. No hurry, no fear. They knew no one would stop them. Eliza hid behind a cracked wooden wall, her breath trembling as she watched through a narrow gap. Her father stood tall. "I don't have anything worth your trouble," he said. Silas smiled faintly. "That's where you're wrong." A gunshot cracked the air. Eliza's world shattered. She didn't scream. She couldn't. Her voice died somewhere between her heart and her throat. Flames followed. The house. The barn. Everything she had ever known, gone in minutes. And as the fire roared, something inside her changed. The girl who laughed at sunset disappeared. Morning came without warmth. Smoke curled into the empty sky. The ranch was nothing but blackened wood and silence. Eliza knelt beside a shallow grave she had dug with her bare hands. Dirt covered her father's body, but not her pain. "I'll find him," she whispered, "and I'll make it right." Her fingers bled. Her eyes were dry. Inside the ruins, she found something untouched by fire, an old revolver hidden beneath the floorboards. Her father's. Heavy, cold. She held it tightly as if it could hold her together. With nothing left behind her, Eliza walked forward. Into a world that didn't care if she lived or died. Days turned into weeks. Hunger became familiar. Fear became normal. Eliza followed whispers of Silas Kane, each one leading nowhere. Until she met him. Old Man Rourke sat outside a dusty saloon, watching her like he already knew her story. "You're chasing death," he said. "I'm chasing a man," Eliza replied. "Same thing." He tried to send her away, told her revenge would hollow her out. But she didn't leave. She stayed. Silent. Determined. And eventually he saw it. Not anger. Purpose. So he trained her. How to shoot without hesitation. How to ride like the wind. How to survive when no one was coming to help. She fell. Bled. But she got back up. Single. Months passed. The girl who once hid behind walls now walked into danger. Eliza tracked Silas's men across deserts and towns. One by one they fell. Not out of rage, but precision. Each name she crossed off brought her closer to him. Closer to the man who took everything. People began to talk. "A girl," they said. "Cold as steel. Eyes like she's already seen death and didn't flinch." But they didn't know the truth. She wasn't fearless. She just had nothing left to lose. A name reached her ears. Silas Kane. A small desert town. 2 days' ride. Eliza didn't rush. This wasn't anger anymore. This was calculation. She studied the town. The exits. The patterns. The timing. For the first time, she wasn't the hunted. She was the hunter. At night, she sat alone, staring at the revolver. Her father's voice echoed in her memory. "Not every problem needs force." She closed her eyes. "I tried your way," she whispered. "This is the only one left." The sun hung low as Eliza stepped into the street. Dust moved with the wind. Doors creaked shut. Silence spread. Silas Kane stood at the far end. Relaxed. Unbothered. Amused. "Well," he said, smirking, "this is new." Eliza's voice was steady. You came to my ranch. He paused. Recognition flickered. The girl. The daughter. A long silence. Guns moved. Time slowed. One shot. Two. The sound echoed across the empty town. Silas staggered. Shock filled his eyes. Not because he lost, but because he never believed she could win. He fell into the dust. And it was over. The wind returned. So, quiet. Eliza stood there, staring at the man who had defined her pain. And for the first time, she felt nothing. No victory. No relief. Just stillness. She lowered the gun. This wasn't peace. But it was the end. She turned and walked away. At the edge of town, she stopped and dropped the revolver into the dirt. Her father's gun had done its job. She didn't need it anymore. As she rode into the horizon, the sun rose behind her. Not as the girl she was, but as someone new. Someone free.